Hi, I'm Felissa Rose, and we're talking about A Nun's Curse, and I play Sister Maffei. Is she a good nun or a bad nun?
I'm Damian Maffei. I play the role of Anthony in A Nun's Curse.
My name is Christy Ray, and I'm playing the role of Gabriella in A Nun's Curse.
My name is Gunnar Willis. I play Michael or Mikey.
Hi, my name is Erica Edwards, and I play Ashley Kay in A Nun's Curse.
I'm having a great time. I love working with Tommy Fairtcloth, and I just think his projects are filled with so much passion and creativity, and his stories are original and fun and quirky because he likes to, not only will you experience more of the story, but you'll also feel the authenticity of the characters really having great depth of humor, life. So there's a combination of so many ingredients that make it stand up Tommy Faircloth.
I got involved in this project. Tommy had messaged me. We had worked with mutual people before, and I guess he had seen a movie that I did called The Strangers Pray at Night, and we were friends on Facebook, and he thought that I would be a good fit for Anthony, or maybe he started to he asked if I'd be interested, and then he kind of started to mold Anthony around my sarcasm or sharp wit. So I would be interested, and went from there.
This is my second film with Tommy, and I feel like this character is sort of the next generation of the character that I played before. She, in Family Possessions, I played a character called Maggie, and she is Tommy described her as Carrie, but without the powers, so she was just kind of SOL on all levels, but she befriends Rachel and the main character, and she is sort of bookish, she figures things out, but in A Nun's Curse, Ashley Kay is, instead of just figuring things out as a secondary character, she's actually leading the charge, and she sort of creates the inciting incident that leads everyone to the jail, and she kills everyone, but not really.
This is my second feature with Tommy Faircloth. First one was Dollface. This one's a little bit more fun because I get to do a little bit more than just the goofy character. If you watch Dollface, I look like a cartoon character, and that was a lot of fun. That was my first movie ever, actually. So it's cool to come back 4 years later. Can't also believe that it's 4 years later.
This is not my first movie with Tommy. I worked on Family Possessions with him. Totally different character. Drunk, crazy mother. Next to playing, a nun who's in a totally different headspace. Well, Tommy Faircloth and I met several years ago at a convention, Days of the Dead in Atlanta. I often frequent the convention circuit. And he was sitting about 2 tables next to me, and he, on Sunday, the last day of the convention, came to my table and said, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Tommy Faircloth." And I thought, who's this handsome lad? And he kind of, drew me in and swept me over to his table, and he showed me the trailer to his feature, Dollface. And after I watched the incredibleness that was Dollface, he started pouring me shots of fireballs.
No introduction needed. My favorite horror movie ever, Sleepaway Camp. I give shout outs to all my movies. It's beautiful.
Aww, thank you, Tommy.
She's good.
I feel like I've known it for so long.
Right.
Don't you feel
We
that
talk
way?
on Facebook and we finally get to meet, but she's gonna do a fireball shot with me. Let's do it.
Fireball, baby! I love fireball.
That's awesome. That's pretty much the only thing I'll
Make
drink.
sure that shot is nice and big.
Is that good? Okay.
I'm like, get me
Let's
nice
fill it
and
to the
liquored up.
rim.
I love you.
We've been
Thank you.
we've been bribing people. Buy anything, you get a free fireball shot. Cheers.
To working together.
Yeah.
So I thought, great horror filmmaker and some fireball. I don't know, it doesn't get better than that. there was an instant connection. I just really liked his style and his intelligence, and we stayed in touch. And he said, "We're going to work together." And I thought, "Wow, that's so awesome and sweet." And the next thing I knew, he was contacting me within a few months to tell me about Family Possessions, and here we are now.
I came in to South Carolina. I'm in Maine right now, so it's very different. It's October right now, and I think the first day we were filming, it was probably about 95 degrees. It was humid, and I'm wearing like a pleather jacket, so it's been warm. It's been moist. So that's it's always a big difference when you come from Maine or New York and downward. But the heat's been surprising in October. Otherwise, it's been quite fun.
Today we're filming in Orangeburg, South Carolina at a creepy, haunted, abandoned jail that is really interesting. It looks like we're in the middle of nowhere, but in the reality of things, we're right in the middle of a historic town. This structure was built in the 1800s, and there's all kinds of interesting artwork from real prisoners that lived here on the walls. And since behind me, maybe you can see our solitary confinement unit where they had the maximum security of all these real people that lived here. So it's pretty wild to be in this space.
As soon as I finished the script, I had this fun realization because I knew that Felissa was going to be playing the nun. And I think it's a fun Easter egg because if you've watched the whole movie, then you know that the nun that I'm being haunted by in the end actually turns out to be me. I stabbed myself. So, and as soon as I read that, knowing that Felissa was going to play the nun, I thought it was a fun Easter egg for anyone that had seen Family Possessions, since in that movie, Felissa played my mother. So we kind of have this weird duality, maternal, my obsession with her, and the nun with Sister Monday. It's kind of this like weird, I think sort of mother figure that I think Ashley Kay is exploring, this sort of obsession that she has. And so it's kind of this interesting, it's like your worst nightmare, you know. I mean, our relationship was not great in Family Possessions, but it's even worse now. So I think that that's pretty funny. So anyone that's seen both films will probably maybe pick up on that, or at least think that it was an interesting casting decision.
It's been awesome working with Erica. Just recently we shot a scene where I was actually able to be a friend to her, and it was a lot of fun kind of having that chemistry and being able to not just laugh, but also be a little serious, you know. It was a ton of fun to have a scene partner with so much dialogue, and it was just easy, you know. So it was really a lot of fun. It was also fun having Erica when the other characters may not treat me so well in the movie, so it's a lot of fun.
A couple of scenes stood out to me, probably mostly because of the sense of humor it had. You know, he said horror movie, so you don't automatically think, you know, a sense of humor. Yeah, there's a scene where I'm looking for a bathroom somewhere to take a piss, urinate, whatever. And you know, he finds a mirror, and Anthony finds a mirror, he looks in the mirror, checks himself out. He's living true. He's not quite as dumb as he wants people to think he is, but he's a little dumb. So that, you know, his girlfriend there, Gabriella, you know, finally gets one over on him. She scares him, and I like that because he thinks he's cool and he's really not. And then that leads into his encounter with the nun, where ultimately she stabs his testicle out. And I think the testicle violence is probably the most, like, you know, thing.
My character of Gabriella in this movie is very unique and challenging. think it's the first time that I've ever been offered or given a role where I don't feel I have very much in common with the character. So finding those subtleties and those little nuances that you can have a common ground, I think, is really important as an actress. But Gabriella is so different than Christy, and it's been extra challenging to play opposite of Erica because she is in real life my very best friend, and in this movie our characters really don't get along. So it's been a really fun challenge to explore those kind of sisterly annoyances and things like that on camera, and then when we cut, it's a lot of fun to watch. I wish everyone could see, what's really going on behind the scenes, because it's pretty interesting. So yesterday we weren't in the jail. We went to Beaufort, South Carolina, and we were shooting in this old historic church that in the script it's written as like a burnt down church, and I expected it to be like a timber frame that maybe was just like an old white church, and it was not that. It was so cool. This place looked like somewhere in Rome or Europe. It had these incredible columns and all this old brick and this history that you could just feel. It was so ethereal and charming and lovely. It really wasn't scary at all. And I, as a human, was so fascinated being there. In the opposite of my character, she hates it. She just thinks it's a bunch of dumb old bricks. So between takes, being so inspired and lovely, I was like feeling more like Erica's character, more like Ashley Kay in real life. So it's fun to kind of switch that on and off, and when camera's rolling, you're like not excited to be there at all. But in real life, I was pretty stoked. The locations for this film are really incredible, and I'm such a nerd about that kind of thing. So I'm having a really good time, even though I don't look like it when you're watching the movie. I look like I hate everything, but I don't.
We have fantastic special effects artists here, and Tony and Sean will create that image of Sister Monday in the, you have the plain-faced Sister Monday, and then you have the evil, past, daunting, really decrepit character, and that's more fun, like I'm saying, with the character work. So I actually don't know what the makeup will look like. The interview is being done prior to the makeup, and I think it will just have a sort of demon, zombie, evil kind of physicality. And I'm really excited because we'll have those crazy contacts, and the colors in the face will be, just brutal. So I'm really excited to get into that as well. I love the fact that she can look plain face, although still evil, but then she will be evil, and it will be another extension and elevation of that, craziness. So I'm just happy I'm very grateful to Tommy for this character, and to, bring her to life is definitely, beyond exciting for me.
It's kind of like R-rated Scooby-Doo. For me, that's kind of how I'm playing it. It's funny in parts, and then it just gets super scary, and again, like the practical, like you said, it's just so much fun for the actors to really react to things there. And I don't know the best way to say it. It's just, I keep saying the word fun, but honestly, that is the best way to explain this movie. Like, it's got scares, it's got ridiculous jokes, ridiculous characters, but just like really, really, it's a good time.
I feel really fortunate the way my career has evolved to these really interesting and fun roles in the horror genre, and the support that I've received as an actress and that we've received as a filmmaking team from the horror community. It's such a tight family, and the people are so supportive. So I'm just really excited to be here and be working on another horror feature, and I can't wait for the film to be finished and for us to get it out there to the world.